What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle one more again. Give me a little content, just give a little short video, talk about a couple things. Finally had a chance to get with you on the news of the day. Go ahead and hit that like, comment, and subscribe. Become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. But anyway, look, it was known after the end of the 2021 regular season with the New Orleans Saints that all was not well with the organization, with the Bensons, Mickey Loomis, the organization with all this going on. And, and there was some talk that, we don't, that Sean Payton might do this, or he wasn't sure what his direction was as it relates to the going forward. So just listen. Here's the comments coming from Gail Benson just about 3 days ago, and just listen to how nonchalantly she says this. Just listen to this. I hope you can hear this. We don't know. He'll let us know soon enough, and we'll know. But we don't know anything. Okay. Well, come about 12 o'clock this afternoon, 12 noon, a little bit after that, maybe 1. I bet you ain't laughing now. John Payton has decided to step away from the New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton began coaching the New Orleans Saints in 2006 and has coached there all the way through this past year, totaling 15 seasons, but it's really 16 seasons. But many might not realize that he was suspended for a year for the Bounty Gate scandal that happened after the 2009 season, when him and really he was just overseeing the thing. Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, is really the one that had something to do with that. But anywho, so yeah, that's that. So many might not know that Sean Payton worked with Bill Parcells with the Cowboys from 2003 to 2005. I think he was once a offensive coordinator or a play caller with the New York Giants once upon a time. And if memory serves correctly, he's also coached under Nick Saban at the Miami Dolphins. Don't quote me on that, but I think there's some truth to that too. So, but anywho, Sean Payton, 58 years old, born in Naperville, Illinois, went to Eastern Illinois. Why is that significant? It's significant because it is he that sort of, if you will, quote, discovered, if you will, Tony Romo, because that's the same school that he went to, Eastern Illinois. Incidentally, it's the same school that Jimmy Garoppolo went to also. Jimmy G from the San Francisco 49ers. It's a 1AA program, okay? And I think he may have told Parcells, hey, man, there's this kid, man. I guess, you sometimes you stay close to your alma mater and kind of watch some of the players that come and go. I think it was saying, hey, man, you may want to take it up, because he wasn't drafted. I think he came out in like 2002 or something like that. And I think he may have pointed that out to Parcells when he was coaching the Cowboys. Hey man, you may want to check this kid out, bro. And so uh, Sean Payton had a 152-89 record. Took over the Saints in 2006. Promptly went 10-6. We'll get to that. Then he went 7-9, 8-8, 13-3. That's the year they went like 11-0. The year they won the Super Bowl too, 2009. Then he goes 11-5 and 13-3, and then it skips down to 2013 because he was 12. Okay. 13 he went 11-5, 7-9, 7-9, 7-9. So he had back-to-back 7-9 seasons, kind of Jason Garrett-esque, don't you think? And then he righted the ship and went 11-5, 13-3, 13-3, 12-4, and then his last year 9-8. Now I might add this last season might be his best coaching job, okay? Because he didn't have no Drew Brees to coach, a smart coach on the field kind of quarterback that pretty much sees the game the way that he sees it. So, so then he had to coach Jameis Winston, who we know Jameis Winston is talented but kind of undisciplined, sort of not nonchalant, kind of that's the only way you can describe a guy that throws 31 interceptions. 30 or 31. I think he had 33 touchdowns, 31 interceptions, or something like that. Over 5,000 yards. So it was a project of his, possibly to, I think I can groom him. And so, but Jameis Winston went down in like game 6 or game 7. And so you're left with Taysom Hill, who's a gadget guy, and Trevor Siemian, who's like a ne'er-do-well. The Broncos gave up on him, and he kind of, he just kind of, a guy, a mirror fogger, So, anyhow, but even with that, because we played the Saints, I don't know, the game after Thanksgiving, about a week or two after Thanksgiving, and Taysom Hill threw 4 interceptions, but through Sean Payton's craftiness, his game planning, his, managing of things and, formations and this sorts of thing. And sometimes a good coach can cover up a bad team, even with all that, and then you really got nobody playing quarterback. Michael Thomas is not playing. You got Marquise Goodlow and some other things. Kamara kind of came and went, and Mark Ingram kind of came and went. And, you had, and if it had not been for the 49ers coming back on the Rams in that final game of the regular season, Sean Payton would have had that team in the playoffs. So it would have been them, and the 49ers wouldn't have gotten there. So that's interesting. So anyway, like I said, 152, 89 in 15 years, that's roughly 10-6. That'll work. 9-8 in the playoffs. Not too bad. And he got a Super Bowl ring. He got one of them things on his finger. So, and it's been rumored that, well, he's going to end up in Dallas because, I've listened to all the sports, the prognosticators. He got a house in Dallas. He coached in Dallas, and he's always had a fondness for the Jones family. Okay, if you say so. Now, I do know, he have a house in Dallas, and he did work for the Cowboys once upon a time. Matter of fact, like I said, he had worked for the Giants for a minute, and then he was with the Cowboys on Parcells' staff, and actually he was the offensive coordinator, and it was he that is really responsible for grooming Tony Romo. Okay, now the last year he was there, he kind of didn't call plays, and so I don't know how that ended up working. But And we do know that he coached there from 2003, the year that Parcells got there, to 2005, and he left there after 2005 and went to the Saints. And we also know that Parcells left after the 2006 season. Now, I bring up this point. It is my belief, and I don't have any scientific or data to prove it, but it's just a supposition. Okay, it's a hypothesis that had Sean Payton known that Parcells was going to leave after that next year, I think he stays, and I think he takes that job. And I think what I know about Sean Payton, may have had a Super Bowl or made a nice run, because like I said, he had a good rapport with Tony Romo. Okay, but instead he leaves. Parcells leaves the next year, and then we know that they pulled in Wade Phillips. Okay, so you know how that goes. So, anywho, and the reason I say that, and maybe Parcells wasn't gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna leave after this year and then groom the next guy, because he did Bill Belichick the same way. Because I think when he was coaching, I want to say when he was coaching the Patriots, maybe in the late 90s, that he probably could have told Bill that he was and same thing and when he was up until 1991. Bill's not one of those types that lets his underlings know he's doing. I don't know, maybe he think they may sabotage him or whatever the case might be, but case was when he was with the Giants, Belichick and all of, and I was to I think it was the Bill and Bills. It's a 30 for 30. You might want to check it out. It's good stuff. But it talked about when he was with the Giants that they end up getting Ray Handley, whatever, and really Belichick kind of didn't know that Parcells was leaving, or he would have never left there and went and coached the Cleveland Browns. He would have just took over for the Giants and just kept the thing going. And the players would have liked that. Lawrence Taylor even mentioned it. That was supposed to have been Bill Belichick taking over for him. But Parcells didn't communicate that to him. So Bill ended up going to the Cleveland Browns, I think, like 92, 93, and 94. And then, of course, after that season, they left. And, and he got left because the whole team left. And then, they picked up stakes and went to Baltimore. And Cleveland didn't have a team for a couple of years. But, so anyhow, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Parcells wasn't going to let Sean Payton know, or anybody know, he was planning on leaving after that year. Because I guarantee you, had Sean Payton knew that Parcells was leaving that following season, the year after he left, that he would have just stayed on and just, because I feel like, because nobody knew that Drew Brees is going to be Drew Brees. Okay? You're lying if you thought that when he left San Diego and came to, because nobody even thought that his shoulder was going to be right. So I'm kind of digressing here, but anyway, so what does it mean for the Cowboys now? Okay, because they've been linked together. Now, it has been my thoughts that with the success, that's up for debate. Because some people are like, well, he that successful. Only won Super Bowl, and you had a Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, people act like it's what the Patriots did in New England, like everybody should be able to do that, just win multiple Super Bowls. But the league really ain't set up for that. This league is set up for everybody to go 9-7 or 9-8 to 10-7. It's kind of set up that way. The salary cap and all the things are set up for everybody for nobody to dominate, to keep everybody right in the middle. That's kind of that's kind of a socialist kind of thing, if you ask me. But it's kind of set up that way. So, but he had some pretty good seasons here. He had like at least 3 13-3 seasons. 1 12-4 season. Yeah, he had three. He had four. He had four 13-win seasons. Okay. And 112 and like two 11-win seasons. So, you know, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. Okay. Well, he had some 79s in there, but that's the worst record he's ever had is 79. Of course, he had it 3 times, and he had 8-8 season in there. So actually, he had 4 79 seasons and 8-8 season. But that's the worst season he's ever had. But you know, he had 4 13-3s, 1 12-5, 12-4, and 2 11-5s, and then the other ones is, you know, whatever. Now, like I said, it would have been interesting to see had he been the head coach and he had his hand on the offense and done all this, what that would have looked like with Tony Romo. That would have been interesting to have seen that. But I'm digressing. I'm reminiscing now. So let's move into now. So, but it's my thinking is that, you know, with the success that he has experienced, it would seem that, you know, because, you know, when you have success, and he's kind of viewed as a guru, a guy that, you know, he knows he could look at a team and can tell you, oh, they're running this kind of pass play or this kind of running play will work against that. He's known as an offensive guru, and you know. And you think that maybe, you know, there's a little arrogance there, you know, like, yeah, I kind of know my stuff, you know. How would that work in the Jerry Jones big top? Because it's like a circus. How would that work? Where coach, you just fall in line, you don't stand out. You just kind of fall in line, kind of blend into the woodworks. Kind of like this pastel wall paint. You know, it's not no vivid oranges or reds or bright blues or nothing. No, pastel. Just kind of blend into the woodwork. You know, you're not the cause of everything. You're just you're just a cog in the system. That's just my take. Okay. So I don't know, when you've been, you know, looked at as a mastermind of an organization and whatnot, and kind of running your organization the way he's had the opportunity to do it at the New Orleans Saints, can you kind of fall back and just be a cog in the system? And who knows? Maybe Jerry looked at life and said, man, I'm 70, 79, almost 80. I don't know how many more cracks in this thing I got. Might be to give me a proven winner, a guy that knows what he's doing, a guy that can fix my offense. It's been said that he has not been happy with the way that the team had performed late in the season, especially in the offensive inefficiencies. A lot of that ire was directed at Kellen Moore, and a lot of that was at Mike McCarthy, who doesn't call plays, but you know, we do know he's supposedly an offensive mind, because he called plays when he was in Green Bay. So now, something you should know. Now, just because Sean Payton stepped away, don't mean he's clear and free and clean. Okay, because we know that he is still under contract with the Saints through, I think, the 2024 season. And because of that, now I know Jerry would love to just run and get him, because he's so mad right now. He got, you know, he's biting on copper right now. He's so mad. Okay. He could bite the head off of a nail right now if he could. You know, that's how mad he is, you know. But and it was said that, you know, Stephen Jones said, like, he's definitely sure that Mike McCarthy is coming back, and nobody's heard what Will McClay said. He's a vice president also, but Jerry's kind of been non-committal, you know, because he basically said, you know, he didn't like, you know, what happened. I also think that he didn't like the press conference that Mike McCarthy put on, because it kind of didn't put it in a good light, because he mentioned something about, you know, players were nervous. Really, if you thought the players was nervous, Mike, you probably, especially since you lost, probably shouldn't have even mentioned that, you know. Yeah, if you won, then you could come back and say, man, I was nervous as I don't know what, man, coming into this game. But luckily they found a way to get it, Just like the game this weekend with the Bengals and the Titans. The Bengals got down to like the 32-yard line and kicked the field goal. And it's believed that McPherson was talking to when they set it up and called a timeout. He came over to Burrow and said, well, looks like we getting ready to go to the AFC Championship game. Of course, Burrow mentioned that afterwards in the press conference that he had said that. Now, had he missed that kick, I guarantee he wouldn't have said, well, yeah, McPherson came over and said, yeah, man, we're getting ready to go to the AFC Championship game. Get ready for that. Now, when you win, you can say all the things that you messed up at and stuff like that, things that but you don't mention it when you lose. You just lose and then go on about your business, man. And then, putting Kellen Moore under the bus, So it's a lot of things that Mike doesn't do that doesn't look as well, that as it should. And so I can understand why Jerry would want to move him. But it's also Jerry's fault because Jerry does not want a commanding, decisive coach. He wants just a guy that he can manipulate. They can, if he thinks that you are for it on fourth down more, he just kind of mentions it and the guy goes and does it. That's what he wants. He doesn't want a guy that has his own mind and do his own thing and just basically do it. He wants somebody that he answers to. So anyhow, but here's the thing. He got another 2 years, a year or 2 years left on his contract. And it's some wide speculation as to what he might do. Because obviously the Saints aren't going to sit by. So maybe he might take a television job looking for him because I think they're trying to move Troy Aikman to the new Amazon package. So, Amazon is doing games now too, so they got to have a crew to work that angle. So, the NFL is being streamed in all kind of different vehicles and mediums now. It's bigger than it's ever been. It's got more visibility than it's ever had. And if you saw the games this weekend, it's better than it's ever been. I mean, it's just the greatest thing ever, in terms of sports. So, yeah, they would just move him to the number 2 spot or the number 1 or number 2 spot. And even though he's never done it, but I mean, you would think he knows his football. And I'm thinking he might bide his time for a year because obviously the Saints wouldn't go against him getting a job. They just don't want him getting a job in a competing franchise. That's just not good business. So if the Cowboys want him now, they have to give the Saints some compensation, like a first-round pick or something. Now, our first-round pick is at 24. So don't know what kind of game changer you would get, and maybe they want a player. Now, so what I would do is I would trade that pick and maybe a player that I was really not going to keep anyway. A lot of speculation is about Amari Cooper. I love Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper didn't do himself no favors this year, and he's making $20 million a year. Okay, and so he might be one of them guys that So I don't know. This is all me brainstorming here, but yeah, they'd have to give him because back in 2002, the Raiders gave I think the Buccaneers either 2 number 1s or 1 and a 2 for John Gruden. And he promptly came in and won them a Super Bowl. Well, if Sean Payton could repeat or duplicate the same success, you think Jerry wouldn't roll the dice and say, okay, I'll give you a first-round draft pick if you can get me a Super Bowl in the next couple of years? He would do it. He would do it in a heartbeat. Okay. But Jerry's gonna have to understand, in order to get a guy like Sean Payton, you're gonna have to acquiesce some of this dog and pony show that you insist on having, because I don't think Sean Payton is about the circus. Okay. So we just kind of keep our eyes on that and kind of see what goes on with that. Already talking about the Cowboys, and I know we're gonna talk about some other things. The Cowboys, got some coaching things going on, and it's a rumor that Mike McCarthy wouldn't back. Now I'm thinking that Jerry might use Sean Payton's being, quote, sort of available as an opportunity to apply pressure on Mike McCarthy and Kellen Moore, because Kellen Moore is an offensive coordinator and Mike McCarthy is an offensive guy, and hey, well, you guys can't do that, whatever, we know what, we just don't worry about it. We're good. In the back of their minds, man, he's gonna call Sean Payton. He's gonna try to work out something next year. So, you see, it kind of works on a timeline because Sean Payton wouldn't be available until I think after next year. Mike McCarthy probably get this next year, to kind of to prove himself, to see that last year was kind of an anomaly with the penalties and all this other stuff. Jerry wasn't really enamored with Kellen Moore's game planning and stuff like that. And so Kellen Moore also, due to some sources I heard from today, is not going to get one of these head coaching jobs. He's interviewed with Denver, Minnesota, Miami, and Jacksonville, and it is believed that he's not going to get any of those jobs. So the thinking is that he'll be ready for a head coaching job, or maybe next year. So both of them will kind of be on 1 year prove it deals, if you see what I'm saying. And if they don't prove it, Jerry's like, look, I got my ram over here in the bush with Sean Payton, and but the thing is, now if Sean Payton get too comfortable with that commentator, Fox commentator life, if that's what he chooses to do, it might be difficult to come back to a $7 million a year coaching job where you got to work 17, 18 hours a day, as opposed to working for Fox and making around that same money. Now, Romo and Tony and Troy Aikman make about $1 million. They've been at that game a minute, and they work, half a day, work a couple of days a week, and golf, other things. Aikman is working so little, he's able to start a brewery and beer corporation, So, it'd be hard to get that up to be, in the meat grinder that is the NFL, coaching profession. So, but if coaching is in your blood and it's in your genes, it's in your soul, it's in your being, you like to teach, like to show people how to, and it's like gives you certain sort of pleasure to be able to design a play and watch it and instruct players on how to work that plan and that system work. Sometimes teachers just teach. Okay, they don't want to work for a corporation. They want to teach. Okay, because they feel that they're good at teaching. So he may have that. So we'll just see what happens with that. But I'm telling you, Jerry gonna use that to turn the screws up on Kellen and Mike McCarthy. And it's believed, as we talk about the Cowboys, I believe Dan Quinn is going to be gone. Because the coaching foundation for the Cowboys is going to be a lot different next year, because Kellen Moore is going to be there. Mike McCarthy probably going to be there. But I think Dan Quinn's going to get one of these jobs. And if I had my pick, or I think it's probably going to be the Denver Broncos. If it's not the Broncos, maybe Minnesota. Because the reason I said that is that, and I think because the Broncos have the best roster of all the teams that's left, because, they just need a quarterback. And most teams, when they don't have success, they change coaches. They usually go from offense to defense, from defense to offense. So Chicago will be my next guess, because Chicago had an offensive coach at Nagy. Okay. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. And the reason they said Kellen Moore didn't get one of these jobs is because he's not, because a lot of people have said he's like when you talk to him, is obviously he has knowledge, vast knowledge, and he's like the smartest coach in the room. He can tell you all the ins and outs, and all the ups and downs, and the left, rights, and all those sorts of things. and it goes over the head of certain people or whatever when they try to explain certain things to them. That's cool. That's fine. That's what you want. You want somebody that knows their stuff. But then he comes across like maybe he's not the most authoritative. Look at him. He looks like a kid. If you look at him, he doesn't look like he could command a room. And believe it or not, a coach kind of has to have that command ability. You know, you walk into the room, you already, everybody's at attention. Oh, here come coach. He tells you something, you kind of, you know, oh, yeah, I better get to that. You know, you want a coach to command the room. Unless you're Jerry Jones, because he don't get coaches that command the room. Only coach that had to command the room is Jimmy Johnson and Bill Parcells. All the other ones were wet noodles. You know, guys are there, well, you know, we just do what we do. You know, nobody that, you know, you doing something wrong, he come in the room and you staying in your shorts almost trying to get it in attention. You don't have nobody like that. You don't want like that because you might get too much attention. But anyway, we'll keep an eye on that and kind of see where that goes, because now the Saints, the coaching, now the NFL has 9 coaching vacancies now. Okay. You know, so you know, we're gonna see. Some other NFL news. Well, we just stay with the Cowboys. Now, you know, the Cowboys have free agents that they gotta, and we're gonna get to some other things. So we on the Cowboys. Let's stay on the Cowboys. We go to some other things. Now, I know the Cowboys are gonna have Dalton Schultz, tight end, Randy Gregory, and Van Der Esch. Those are like the highlights. And then, of course, Cedric Wilson and Michael Gallup are our top free agents. Now, if I had my crystal ball or whatever, what I predict that they're gonna keep Randy Gregory, but they're gonna kind of maybe talk to him, maybe see, because it'd be kind of hard for the Cowboys to have basically babysat Gregory since 15, because I think that's when he got drafted. I think 15 or 16. I can't remember who it was. Babysat him basically for like 3 years and then let him play parts of years and stuff like that, and kind of stuck with him because he got talent. He just got to get his head right. He's got to get his head right. He's a very engaging young man. I've seen a couple of interviews with him, and very engaging, very articulate dude. But sometimes I don't know if sometimes things that happen in the game make him lose his mind, like them jumping off sides penalties in the division and the wild card game. Cost us a couple of first downs, just little things like that. And but you'd hate for somebody for us to have nursed him all this time and stuck with him, and then just to let him go and let him be a star for somebody else. So I look for them to try to make him a good offer, but let him understand that, look, when no other team would have stuck by you like us. So, Dalton Schultz, I'd love to keep Dalton Schultz, but I don't know, because money is going to be tight. I think we're like 33 million or so over the cap, because there's going to be some things changed when some people leave, and so people leave, that cap it. I think Van Der Esch is a done deal, because I think we're pretty good at linebacker. I think we're gonna go younger. I think we may even draft one. Van Der Esch is looking for top money, and he really, other than his rookie and second season, really hadn't had a good season. So I would look for him to be one of the guys that we keep. As we look at some of the other guys, Michael Gallup and Cedric Wilson, I would think that probably Cedric Wilson would be the one we keep, because you could probably get him for like $4.5 million a year, $5 million a year. But I think Michael Gallup, even though he's injured, I think he's going to want more than that, and I think he's going to get more than that from other teams. But know this: if we keep Michael Gallup, that tells me they're going to try to do something with Amari Cooper. Because you can't have, a 10, 11 million, $13 million receiver and a $20 million receiver. You just really can't do it like that. Okay. And so my thing is, I'm thinking that probably, because you still got CD on the rookie deal for another year or two. I think they will probably keep Cedric Wilson and pay him a good amount, maybe $6 million, and keep Amari. and then you have him, Cedric, Mike, and CD, and then and probably even Noah Brown, because I think Noah Brown's not going to command a big thing in the because he hadn't really put up, but I think he got potential because he's a big body receiver, and I think there's ways if we had the right offensive coordinator to understand how to use big body receivers. There's plays for him. And I think, he's 6'2", 6'3", 230 pounds. He's a big dude, So, Dorrance Armstrong, another defensive edge. I think he's played his way. I think he had a touchdown and a couple of some nice plays this year. I think I would go maybe keep him. The guy and maybe Keanu Neal. I think we keep him. I think Van Der Esch probably is not going to be around. And some of these other guys, Luke Gifford will probably keep, because we're going to get rid of Van Der Esch, and they probably draft a linebacker, I think. But yeah, those are some of the guys I think we should keep. Some of these other guys, I guess keep Corey Clement. I think it's Clement. As a backup running back to Zeke and Pollard. I think you could do that. But some of these other guys, I don't think they're gonna be. But obviously, we're gonna have to do some different things now. I guarantee you, when Ken leaves, he's taking some guys with him. Okay. Also, he's probably taking some of the coaches with him. I think either Joe Vitt or George Edwards. I think it's George Andrews, who's kind of the defensive line coach, and Joe Witt Jr. and maybe Mal Harris. He might take all of those guys. So the new guy we bring in, I'm thinking it may either be Mike Zimmer or Vic Fangio. Okay. Or if George Edwards don't leave, I think he might get the job because he's well respected and keep Joe Vitt, those guys. But if it's going to be from the outside, I would think it'd be Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer would be the first because he knows the Cowboy organization in and out because he worked for us before. But as far as talent is concerned, I would go with Vic Fangio. Remember, he got the blueprint on how to play us. We said. But yeah, I think he's a good defensive mind. So, but anyway, that's just some things as the Cowboys are concerned that I thought about. But I think Curse, KZ, I think they if Quinn leaves, I think they go with him because those are guys that he had. And Neal too, possibly. He made the elect to leave with him because he's comfortable with the defense that Quinn runs. So anytime you run in the defense, you want players that fit your system. So let's look at some other things, and we get ready in this video. I'm going to shut this video down. I just wanted to talk to you guys about some things we saw today. We know it's a Black Monday, Black Tuesday for a lot of teams. Now, first thing we'll talk about is Tom Brady. As soon as the game was over yesterday, Tom Brady was talking about his mortality now. He's been saying he won't play to 45, maybe even 50. Now, he wasn't going to do that in New England because Belichick wasn't going to do that. He likes to get 1 or 2 years before, you're ready to be gone, whatever. He gets rid of you 1 year, 2 years too early. You ain't finna play here and be a senior citizen playing for me. I'm gonna get rid of you a year before your good stuff run out. So anyway, he was talking to some people today about just talking about that he he feels good, but he feels like that he has not, just think about it now. Most quarterbacks, when they retire, they're like in their mid to late 30s. He's in his mid 40s. He'll be 45 if he is on the roster before the time the training camp starts. He'll be 45 years old. And he's got somewhat small kids. And so, at some point, a lot of guys, when they retire, they're still relatively men, and they can still, their kids are still like 12, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. And they can go and do their thing, be at their games, do these things, spend more time with them. But Brady is 44. And if you keep playing, he's like, now I want to be a great player, but I want to be the kind of parent. My kids, I think he's got 2 kids. I think he got 2 sons and a daughter. because I know he's got one by another woman that he was with, Michelle Moynihan, before he married Giselle. So he's got another kid that's probably close to being grown now. But yeah, young kids. I think the oldest one looks, from the looks of it, he looks like he's maybe 12, and he's got like probably a 10 and an 8 somewhere in there. And they want dad at home. They want their dad because the football life. He's away 6, 7, 8 months out the year, and really you can't talk to him. And he said he want to be a husband, and Giselle, that she deserves to have. So it's a lot of questions he's gonna have to answer. And just let's face it, the Buccaneers aren't going to be the same next year. They all kind of bought into this year to bring everybody back, and it worked to a good degree. It did work pretty good, but then the injury bug happened. And see, the injury bug, they kind of dodged it last year, man. You asking a little too much to go 2-3 years with no significant injury. So this year they got hit big time. Guys on the offensive line, with Marpet and what's the guy's name? Tristan Wirfs, him, and then Fournette and Ronald Jones, in and out, and on the defense, the Sean Murphy Bunting, Mel Dean, all those guys. Vita Vea's been hurt. Vontae David's been hurt. All these guys, and they've been in and out mass unit. Chris Godwin, Michael Evans, they all been hurt different times. And AB flew the coop. So this year kind of been and so a lot of these guys not going to be back next year. They took like a little hometown deals to come back and run it back. And Brady knows if he don't have certain people that come back, he's not going to be here for a 7-9 or 10-7 season. He don't want that. He wants to be playing Super Bowls. And said he wants to be walking off with this confetti, like Peyton Manning did and like John Elway did. It's amazing that John Elway and Peyton Manning did it for the same organization, for the Denver Broncos, win it and just walk off into the sunset. He said he'd like to be doing. He didn't like it to see his career to end at the end of a division game that they were supposed to win. They were favored by 3, but yeah, he really talked about retiring for once, because usually I'm gonna play until I can't play no more. But now, since the season ended how it ended, and then looking at what he's gonna have coming back next year, I don't know, bro. I don't know. I think he might retire. But let's just see. I think it's going to depend on who they bring back and that sort of thing. But it's just interesting stuff, man. Interesting stuff. And then the other quarterback that kind of ended prematurely, Aaron Rodgers. And of course, Aaron Rodgers goes on the Pat McAfee show, and which he talks about. He wants to make a decision. He's not going to do like, he didn't mention his name. I know he talking about, I'm going to be stringing along and stuff. He's talking about Brett Favre, because Brett Favre did, he did him coming back out. Now I don't want that. He just didn't want that training camp. He felt like, man, I can do a training camp. I can teach a training camp. I don't need training camp. I've been playing 17, 18 years. Nothing I learned at training camp I don't already know. So really wasn't no need for him to go to training camp. But, But Aaron Rodgers, look, man, I know a lot of y'all think I beat up on Aaron Rodgers. And I just say, but I just think Aaron Rodgers is like, he just loves attention. He likes to, I just might retire. I don't know. I think he likes to do that. He kind of whiny to me, I know he said he didn't want that loss to be a part of it. He didn't want to be a part of a rebuild. Now, the Green Bay roster is about to be $40 million over the cap, and I think his cap hit is like $46 million. Yeah, and so that means they're not going to be able to retain guys like Devontae Adams and other guys and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting what they do with him and what he does and what he's, because I know that loss that they got this past 2 days ago had to sting, and I'm just gonna say, man, Aaron Rodgers really hadn't, And I mean, I'm not going to say the guy's career is a failure because I think he's one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen. But man, his flameouts in the playoffs, man, are just legendary almost. So it's like, man, good as you are, you have one Super Bowl and like not even another appearance. Hell, even Peyton Manning got to two more and lost them, you know. So, I mean, he got to that first one in 6 and he came right back in 9 and went and lost, because he threw a pick 6, They could have won that one. They could have very easily won that one. Of course, he went back in 13 and lost and came back in 15 and won it. So, went to 4. That's so, I mean, he was looked at as one that was an underachiever because, he was a can't miss, number 1 pick. And it was several years into his career. He came in the league in 98. Yeah. And then they went to the playoffs in 99. And in 98, he went 3-13. 99, they went 13-3, but they lost their first playoff game. And then they went back in 2000, they lost to the Miami Dolphins. And 2001, they lost to the Jets. When they got Tony Dungy. They lost to the Jets, like 41-7 or something like that. And I think he won his first playoff game in 2002, maybe. So he'd been in the league like 5 years before he won his first playoff game. So yeah, but then he kept going back and then finally got to the Super Bowl in 06 and then went back in 09, So he kind of did. But at the end, I think he was 15-13 in the playoffs, 500. That's all right. But Aaron Rodgers is 7-9. So, anywho, so anyway, he says here, quoting what he said on Pat McAfee, and I'm quoting here, I understand that my decision does impact a number of other people, and I want to be very sensitive to that. I'll definitely make a decision sooner than later. So that's that's what he was saying, basically. He's favored to win his 4th MVP this year. He's a first team All-Pro. And, we'll see, man. But anyway, that's all I got from the desk of Uncle Fred today. Kind of like my weekly, everything video. But that's all I got. Sean Payton steps away. Coaching searches, coaching carousel. It's like, musical chairs. Where they end up, nobody knows. It's moving around. What does it mean to Terry? What does that mean to the Cowboys? What does it mean to other teams? Could he pick another team other than the Cowboys? Could he go into broadcasting and stay? It's just a thing, Just things I thought y'all would like to know. But anyway, that's all I got for today. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe and become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. You guys be good. Catch you guys on the next video.